What if buying a home could be as simple as clicking a Buy It Now button? Well, today on Tech Talks Daily, I'm welcoming the visionary CEO of Better.com onto the podcast. And he's going to be sharing how they are transforming the real estate and mortgage landscapes with cutting-edge technology. And there was a whole scene around this called prop tech, or property tech. But I want to learn more about the problems it's solving. With interest rates and market dynamics in constant flux, the process of purchasing a home is undergoing somewhat of a digital revolution, promising unprecedented efficiency and accessibility. So my guest today is going to discuss the future of housing, the impact of technology on those cumbersome traditional processes, and how at Better.com they're at the forefront of this transformation, offering things like rapid pre-approvals and commitment letters in record time. Delivering daily content to 140,000 of you wonderful monthly listeners across the globe is no small feat. I don't want to take all the credit here because it wouldn't be possible without the backing of our dedicated sponsors and partners. And I also want to shine a light on the fact that legacy managed file transfer tools are looking dated. They often lack the security that today's remote workforce demands. And companies that continue relying on that outdated tech, they're in danger of putting their sensitive data at risk. Attention IT professionals, are you tired of juggling these multiple servers for secure file sharing? Integrated shared folders and email plus a comprehensive REST API. Kiteworks simplifies your workflow. For administrators, you can experience unmatched functionality and integration that traditional MFT servers just can't touch. Step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks by going to kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com. And remember, Kiteworks is also FedRAMP moderate authorized. Thank you for your patience today. This is the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to welcome my guest onto the show. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to New York, where we're going to redefine what it means to buy, where we're going to find out more about how technology is redefining what it means to buy a home in the digital age. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm Vishal Garg. I'm the founder and CEO of Better.com, which is the leading online mortgage originator in the country. And we're hoping and working really hard to make homeownership more accessible, more affordable for all Americans by making the mortgage process and the home insurance process and the realtor process better, faster, cheaper, and easier for all consumers.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast because every single day on here, I try and get a completely different topic and get people thinking about how technology is impacting areas that they might not associate with technology. So just to set the scene for our conversation today, can you give me an overview of your outlook for the housing market in 2024 over there and how it contrasts with the challenges faced last year?
I think 2024 has still been a pretty challenging year for the housing market. For most of the past 6 months, interest rates here in the U.S. have been 7.5% to 8%, which makes buying a home pretty expensive for most consumers. There's also been a lack of supply. All that has really started to change in the past 30, 60 days, where the number of homes for sale has started going up pretty dramatically. And we're starting to see real light at the end of the tunnel on a potential rate cut in the month of September. So people were really hoping for 2024 to be a bumper year where the combination of rate cuts plus increased supply were going to meet and create a really booming housing market. But I think instead we're going to get, a muted housing market in 2024 and a booming housing market in 2025.
And for saying there's, 2,500, 3,000 miles between us, everything you're saying there feels very reminiscent of what it is like here at the moment. Yep. Exactly the same problems. And also, if we're looking for houses here in the UK, it's most things are done online over here in the UK. Rightmove is a huge example of that. Is that the same in the US as well? Is technology a huge part of that industry?
Well, it's really interesting. Technology is a huge part of the search process.
Yeah.
So consumers are using it to search for houses, to look at which houses to go and visit. And then from there, the technology dies and it becomes an entirely manual, human intermediated process, which is not changed in the past 50 years. Basically, from the moment that you decide that you actually want to buy a house, the whole process becomes super old school. People are sending you emails and PDFs, and you're filling out forms on paper and signing them and then, scanning them and sending them back. And, most of the process exists as if the internet was never invented.
I'm kind of relieved that you said that, because I thought we were stuck in those olden times here in the UK. Everything seems to take so long now. What's the average sale process from selling your house to moving into your new home? How long does that take?
I think
typically?
it's a 60 to 90 day process to do that, with the mortgage being the actual longest end of that process, where the average mortgage today takes on average 55 days to get.
Yeah, it's about the same.
And that today, in the where we're living in the age of AI, that process should take 1 day, if not less.
Yeah, I say the same here in the UK. I think 8-9 weeks is the average, and you think with the speed of AI and everything in our as consumers, everything this instant gratification almost. So, how do you foresee a reduction in competition with this robust demand as key indicators of a revitalized market service? Can you elaborate on the factors driving some of these predictions that you've made, and maybe expand on them too?
Sure. So in respect to the competition in the mortgage market, back at peak in 2021, there were over 170,000 licensed mortgage brokers in the United States, individuals with the licenses to be a mortgage consultant. And that number is down to less than 90,000. So it's down by over 45%. So the amount of competition in the mortgage industry has come down dramatically, with a lot of people leaving the industry. The same is happening with the realtor industry. In the US, we've had the large commission lawsuits and their settlements, and it's now becoming increasingly harder for real estate brokers to charge commissions on the buy side to consumers. And so we're seeing, effectively commissions come down, and therefore the number of realtors who can actually make a living being a realtor coming down. So their competition in that vertical is coming down. So we're starting to see a real thinning out of competition in both of the real estate and the mortgage lending verticals happen as, the rate environment has continued to be tough and housing inventories continue to be low.
And despite potential fluctuations in finance volumes, I was also reading that you expect a huge surge in purchase activity in the second half of 2024. So lots to be hopeful about. But what are the main factors contributing to this anticipated increase in home purchases?
The biggest things that are contributing to that are the fact that people have been putting off buying a home for 2 to 3 years and have now become comfortable with the interest rates that are out there. Now it's sort of 7% land. The fact is that rents have gone up even higher than interest rates have gone up. And so the equation between renting or buying seems to be attractive again as rates come down below 7%, versus staying in a home where you're renting and the rent goes up 7 to 10% annually. So that's what's causing people to really, step into the market again, and couple that with migration patterns that are taking place in the United States, where people from the Northeast, people from the West are moving more to the South, the Southwest. And those migration patterns means there's a ton of houses coming up for sale in the Northeast and in California and Oregon and Washington. And those are houses that can pass from the boomer generation down to the millennials in a pretty meaningful manner. And people are actually transacting.
And it's so refreshing to see that your outlook is so much more optimistic than other projections out there. So are there any other financial indicators or economic trends that lead you to predict this quicker recovery and potential economic soft landing?
I think the biggest thing that you can see is the housing inventory go up, where now basically sellers and buyers are starting to find levels that they can meet at.
And for first-time buyers that might be listening anywhere in the world, any advice you'd give them in the current market conditions and how they might be able to leverage technology, as this is a tech podcast?
I would tell them that now is a great time to start looking for a home. The reason is you can buy a home where prices are now slightly depressed and supply is now available, and you likely can refinance your mortgage in the coming year or two at a much lower rate. So if you can afford to buy a home today, you're going to be able to dramatically increase your affordability and actually get into housing at a time when prices are a little bit stable or down. And the way to do it is leverage technology. So At Better, we have something called a one-day mortgage that we launched about a year and a half ago, where a consumer can come in, get approved, and get a commitment letter in as little as 8 hours on our platform on average. And that means that the day they want to put in a bid for a house, they can also be approved for financing to buy that house, and maybe can even waive their financing contingency. And so that, we think, is pretty magical for consumers who are in the home shopping journey, and can enable them to have speed and certainty throughout the process, which enables them to put in a better bid than their competitors for the house that they fall in love with.
A mortgage within 8 hours. Wow, that's fantastic. It's great to hear how the technology is making a big difference there. And at Better.com, you've probably seen so many different changes, the technology's coming in, redefining processes, etc. How are you at Better.com redefining the entire home buying experience with technology, and any unique value that your platform offers to both first-time buyers, seasoned home buyers that are out there that are leveraging this technology too?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Better.com does for you is provide speed and certainty and a great rate. And we leverage technology in multiple ways to do that. The first is get you pre-approved within 3 minutes. So our algorithms are able to match you with our 35 different investors, get them all their criteria after you just input in a few pieces of data, and then be able to pre-approve you in a fast fashion where you have transparency on rate and your approval process, faster than it takes to pick up the phone and call up your local bank, right? So we're really leveraging technology to do that. From that process, from getting pre-approved to actually getting a commitment letter from us, we're leveraging AI to take away all the documents that are typically needed to be gathered there, leveraging it to automatically extract data from documents. You just upload them and leave them be with us. We'll get all the data entry for you. Then use those platforms to algorithmically underwrite you and get you a commitment letter within 8 hours. One of the most interesting things that we're seeing now is, with the level of digitization on our platform, 10% of our customers are getting underwritten in under 1 second. So literally, they come in, they get pre-approved, they lock their rate, and they've got a commitment letter in hand within a second of locking their rate. So we are seeing advances in technology get so strong and so powerful that you can basically underwrite a mortgage without any human intervention whatsoever.
And just listening to you there, it's clear that the digital home ownership landscape is evolving so rapidly at the moment. And I'm curious, as someone right in the heart of this space, what trends or innovations do you see further shaping this space in the coming year? And how are you at Better.com positioned to lead in this area?
I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see on every property website in the country, in the US and the UK, a buy it now button.
Yeah. Wow.
And you're going to get pre-approved. You're going to get commitment letter for financing before you go to actually buy a house. And then you're going to be able to see all the houses where you can just press a button and buy it now. And I think that's going to be amazing for consumers. It's going to drive real price transparency. It's going to enable people to buy and sell houses a lot faster and at much lower commissions. And I think it'll revolutionize the entire real estate industry in the same way that Amazon and eBay revolutionized e-commerce.
Wow, I can just hear light bulb moments going off all around the world as you said that. And as we look ahead, are there any key challenges and equally opportunities that you anticipate for the mortgage industry? And again, how are you preparing to address these?
I think the key challenge for the mortgage industry today is how to continue to address the needs of a next generation of consumers whose demands are, who thought that all houses already had a buy it now button, right? And, they're coming along for the first time and they're like, wait, why does this everything take so long? Why is this also broken? The same feeling I had 10 years ago when I started this company. And I said, it's just going to take some time to do that. But I think the banking industry and the traditional mortgage brokers are ill-equipped to meet the consumer where they're at. And I think there's a challenge that is, that those industries are going to have to evolve much more rapidly to meet the consumer where they're at as the pace of technology adoption picks up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's a great quote. It's about a decade old now that the last best experience we have anywhere becomes the standard expectation that we expect to see everywhere. And
Yeah.
a lot of those experiences are not the same in the workplace or in those in situations like buying a house, for example. And that's got to change, hasn't it?
100%. Yeah. I think the consumers just demand more.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing your insights around prop tech and all the exciting advancements there. But I'd love you to leave one final gift for everyone listening, and that is a song or a book that we can add to either a Spotify playlist or an Amazon wish list. All I'm going to ask is, which would you like to leave and why?
I would love for everyone to read Made in America by Sam Walton, who is the founder of Walmart, and really revolutionized retailing in America and the world by introducing the concept of providing a superior product at a lower price every day to consumers, and really disrupted modern retail in doing that, and set forth a lot of the key tenets that then got adopted by many of the companies that lead e-commerce today. It's really interesting because now, as I'm a little older, I think about, wait, should I, be doing startups when I'm, 45 years old? And it was interesting to see here that like Sam Walton started his first Walmart, like when he was 44 years old. And so that he started his first startup like then. And so I draw a lot of inspiration from him. It gives me the energy and courage to keep driving hard every day and know that, in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to revolutionize and dramatically change homeownership for everyone.
And that energy, that passion for everything that you do, I think really shines through in our conversation today. So before I let you go, where's the best place for anybody listening anywhere in the world to find you or your team online and find out more about anything we talked about, and maybe look at some of those predictions that you made too?
In the US, go to better.com. In the UK, go to better.co.uk. We're there. We're making homeownership better for everyone in the US and the UK, and hopefully everywhere else going forward.
Fantastic. Well, I will add links to everything you mentioned there. I'm also going to check that out. I didn't realize you were in the UK, so I'll be checking out your UK website. We covered so much there, but I think your valuable insights into not only the mortgage industry, but the market trends and that future of getting to that where you just one button to buy a house, just phenomenal. I'll be watching this very closely as it continues to evolve, and love to get you on next year and see what kind of predictions or how you're seeing things evolve next year as well. But thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Neil.
So a big thank you to Vishal for joining us today and sharing so many insightful perspectives on the evolving world of home buying and indeed the mortgage industry. And it's clear that technology like what they've developed at better.com is not just enhancing the way we buy homes, but revolutionizing it, offering speed, efficiency and transparency that was previously unimaginable. And as we look to the future where digital processes dominate the real estate landscape, I invite you listening to reflect on how these changes might impact your own home buying journey, wherever you are in the world. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're working in the industry, some of the changes that you're seeing, what excites you about that? What do you think the future holds for home ownership? There's a whole other podcast right there. And how prepared are you to embrace these technological advancements? There's so many different talking points and questions, and I'd love for you to join me in continuing that conversation. So whether it is asking me a question or maybe you want to sit down with me for 30 minutes and we'll explore it some more, whatever is easiest for you, simply email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. Don't just hit follow. Send me a DM. Let me know what you thought of today's episode and any key takeaways that you had or anything you thought we missed. And together, we can all keep up with the latest trends in property technology around the world. At least that is the plan. That is why I record these interviews every single day. And on that, I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. We'll explore a completely different topic with a different guest. But more than anything, you guessed it, thanks so much for listening and spending 30 minutes with me. Hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow. And until next time, don't be a stranger.